Now, I'm in central Seoul. I'm in central Gangnam, which is an absolutely hugely developed part of Seoul. It's the part of Seoul that's south of the Han River, and it started to develop in the 1980s. Until that point, it was either forest or farmland, but some areas remained pristine nature. And I'm in one of them right now, which is the Soraepeul Santekkil, the hiking trail. This is a very beautiful spot. There's a fence here behind me. Quite a while ago, just back behind these rather expensive apartments, was a little shanty town of poor people who lived in the area, didn't own property, just build these sort of ramshackle homes, didn't have property rights, very decent, nice people. They were doing delivery or working as dry cleaners or whatever. They got moved out of the area. The shanty town was cleared out. They had no property rights. They were just squatters. That was a tragedy, I think. But in any case, this forest, this small forest, is very, very nice. However, it's always under pressure from people who want to develop it because the land is worth a tremendous amount of money. Land is like gold here, the way it is in any large urban center these days. But the point that I'd like to dwell on is that finally, after a relatively cool spring, one of the first springs that we've had, when the temperature fluctuations were normal, that is, after a cold winter, the spring weather warmed up a little bit, but didn't go through these strange sort of eerie kind of prematurely warm spells that we've had in past springs. This year, despite the fact that generally global warming is becoming more and more of an issue, climatologists are really getting concerned. Here on the Korean Peninsula, the movement from winter cold to spring freshness and coolness seemed more normal this year. However, I'd like to highlight one particular aspect of this seasonal change, and that is the blossoming of spring flowers. Now, what happens every spring is the first flowers that bloom are jindale, wild azaleas. Very beautiful, delicate flowers. Koreans really love them, and you can see why. They're just, they grow on these sort of thin, very delicate branches. They're quite different from the domesticated azaleas, which sort of are in big, colorful bushes. The jindale are wild, and they have this sort of elegant kind of beauty to them. They started to bud years ago, but in this part of the mountain, they haven't blossomed yet. What you do see are these bushes. These are bush leaves. It's March the 15th today, and they will start. These leaves will be probably fully grown, fully bloomed in a week or a little over a week if this warm weather continues. What's happened is until middle of last week it was coolish, and now it's starting to warm up, and I think what's going to happen is the weather's going to stay warm. It was almost a little bit hot today at noon. However, I'm not noticing any jindale. And I'll probably have to go to another part of the mountain to find some. But in any case, you get the picture that spring is arriving here. Now, one change that I'm going to look out for this particular spring is the progression of the blossoming of these flowers. What usually happens is around this time of year, mid-March, late March, the Jindalee blossom in Gyeonggi-do in Seoul. This is in the northern part of South Korea. The southern part of South Korea, obviously they bloom more early. Then a few weeks later, sometimes as much as a month later, the butkot, the cherry blossoms, blossom. And to put sort of the historical norm in perspective, what happened when Sugi and I got married approximately 18 years ago was we went on a honeymoon to Osaka in Japan, and the cherry blossoms were blossoming at that point. That was in early April that we got married in late March, and we went on our honeymoon in early April. That was sort of mind-blowing to see cherry blossoms that early in the year. What's tending to happen these days is the Jindalee are coming out, and then very, very quickly afterwards, the butkot and other blossoming flowers also blossom. So there's been this sort of shortening of the time frame of these different spring flowers blossoming.